All right. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Hey.
yes. Hey. I know I'm probably ever on camera, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, were you able to find the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it said like it was called ordinance or something like that. So
Yeah. I had put like 7 different attachments in the email. I'm like, I have to get so much to you guys.
yeah, yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to. I'm not at my home, so the lighting is kind of
I mean, my lighting gets bad too, so.
dark in here. Let's see. It's a good spot. May have to go on this.
All right, Miss Ware, can you hear us pretty good?
Hey there. Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. How are you today?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing okay. Busy work week.
Yes, very busy for me as well.
This seems to be a little bit better.
Mr. Kirk, I'm glad you were able to join us.
Me too. It's good to
Yep.
see you.
Did
Hope
the
you're well.
Zoom link work? Did it
What's
go
that?
to your email, the Zoom link? Perfect. See, it works sometimes. It doesn't
Able to,
work every time.
able to get it to the other folks as well.
I hope so. I sent it to almost everyone that I saw last week. So
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much.
no problem. Looks like
All
we're
right.
gonna get this started early. A lot of us are here.
Oh, good.
There you go.
And just forgive me, I'm just playing with this camera. I'm just
Have your fun.
not my
I'm here all
thing.
night.
Yeah.
Just loving that purple, Commissioner McKnight.
Yes, it's very pretty.
That is so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a couple of things going on new here.
I do love the hair. I love the hair.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. It's a bold move for me.
Go bold or go home. Let's see if I can pull up the agenda for this evening too. I think I said that last night.
Taylor, I just realized I don't have the agenda either. I'm so sorry.
You don't. You actually do not have the agenda.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm about to email you now. I think I have your email, right?
Casey Ware at bellsofa.net.
Casey, yeah,
Got it.
got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm sending it over to you right now. East Point agenda. Perfect. Okay, I just sent that over to you. And then Taylor needs to do attendance eventually. So let's pull that up too. Good evening, everyone. The time is now 7 p.m. I only see about 2 commissioners at the moment. So I guess we'll wait just a little bit more for everyone to get here. But thank you all for being here so promptly today. And maybe this meeting will be a little quicker.
Okay, I'm down.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think we only have 2 commissioners at the moment, so we'll give it a little bit more time.
How come I can't get into this fucking email?
Commissioner McKnight, I believe we have a quorum if you would like me to post the agenda and you can begin the meeting if you like.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, that'll be great. So we do have a quorum already? Not seeing everyone. Let's see. Robert.
I believe this is Commissioner Bryant on the attendee side, but I'm also not sure at the moment.
Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2,
Taylor, I see 5.
yes. Me too. I'm about to share my screen in 1 second. Here we go.
We have 5 commissioners on.
I don't know if you all can see me, but I just got on. There seems to be several Zoom meetings. So I was going from one to one, going one to the next.
Madam Vice Chair, let me recommend having Taylor do the roll call to truly confirm if there's a quorum.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. I'm Legina
Good evening.
McKnight. Huh?
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Legina McKnight, co-chair of the East Point Planning and Zoning Commission. At this time, I'd like to call our regularly scheduled meeting to order. Staff, would you please sound roll call to establish quorum?
Commissioner Joseph Fields,
Here,
Commissioner William Bryant, Commissioner Lovett,
Here,
Commissioner McKnight.
Present,
Thanks.
but would I be considered if I'm chairing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
you are.
Okay.
Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Presley, Commissioner Mark Fields,
Present.
Commissioner Miller,
Sorry, present.
thank you. And Mr. Chair is absent today. Madam Vice Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And at this time, we would everyone please join me in a moment of silence? All right, thank you. So our next agenda item is the approval of our February 16, 2023 meeting minutes. I would like to entertain a motion to adopt the, I'm sorry, not the agenda, but to approve the. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our February 16, 2023 meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from, what was the date again?
February 16th.
On February 16th.
second,
I'm hearing some feedback from some. If you can mute your phone. All right, so. Goodness, can you guys hear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see, Commissioner Lovett, you made the motion and second was Commissioner Miller?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Lovett and second by Commissioner Miller that we adopt February 16th, 2023 meeting minutes. Our next agenda item is the adoption of the agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the March 16th Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting agenda.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
Fields. All right, thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Levitt and seconded by Commissioner Joseph Fields that we adopt our March 16th meeting minutes. Meeting agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. All right, here none, the ayes have it. Our agenda is adopted. Commissioners, let's see. Let's start with our first case number. Let's see. Y'all bear with me, it's my first time. All right, case number 2022 V as in Victor -001-10. The applicant is Hill Foley Rossi LLC. And the location is 1065 Cleveland Avenue, and the applicant is seeking a variance. Let's see.
Vice Chair McKnight, is it okay for staff to go ahead and sound the first case?
Well, I think I might have to, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Director Smith. Please sound your case.
Okay. In reference to old business, item number 1, case number 2022V-001-10, the applicant Hill Foley Rossi LLC, Casey Durden, property located 1065 Cleveland Avenue. The applicant seeks a variance for the expansion of a Chick-fil-A to include relief from parking configuration in the rear and side. The applicant seeks 2 concurrent variances from setback right-of-way of 0 to 20 feet to 78 feet from right-of-way, as well as buffer adjacent to residential. Case type is a variance.
Okay, and since the applicant is the same for the next 2 gender, do we do them the same at the same time or each individually for this?
I would recommend doing them individually.
Okay, no problem.
Unless Attorney Wiggins states otherwise.
No, I agree, because each of them will need a public hearing. That's fine.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm. Well, thank you, Director Smith. I believe this agenda item does require a public hearing. I'll read the rules of the public hearing for the record. All right, public hearings before the Planning and Zoning Commission shall be conducted in accordance with section 10-2219 of East Point Zoning Code and Development Regulations. As we continue to meet, let's see. We are meeting virtually, so public hearing rules are as follows. Persons both favoring and opposing the proposed case will be provided an opportunity to address the commission. The applicant for the zoning case or the applicant's designated representative, if any, will be entitled to speak, followed by other speakers in favor of the proposal for a total of 15 minutes. Those who oppose the proposed zoning case will then be permitted to speak for a total of 15 minutes. By majority vote, the commission may increase the total time of speakers provided that each side is given the same amount of time. If there is more than one speaker for a side, the chair or presiding officer may limit the time allotted to each individual speaker. other than the zoning applicant. The zoning applicant may reserve a portion of his or her allotted time for rebuttal. Speakers must adhere to the rules of the decorum. Prior to speaking, each speaker shall identify him or herself and state his or her current address. Each speaker shall speak only to the merits of the proposed zoning ordinance under consideration, shall address remarks only to the commission, and shall refrain from making personal attacks on any other speaker. The presiding officer may refuse a speaker the right to continue if, after being cautioned, the speaker continues to violate the rules of decorum. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard our rules for public hearing. Staff, I would, you've already sounded the case for the commissioner, so I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Miller. That was Commissioner Miller, right?
That's correct.
All right, and second was, did not see, was it Joseph Fields?
Commissioner
Yes.
Joseph Fields.
Okay, all right. It's been moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Fields, that we open a public hearing for, could you put the case number back up for me? Let's see, on the agenda. And let me pull it up real quick. All right, for case number 2022 V as in Victor -001-10. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. All right, hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. For case number 2022 V as in Victor -001-01. Would the applicant please state your first and last name and your current address?
Good evening, Madam Co-Chair, members of the commission. My name is David Kirk. I'm an attorney at the law firm of Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, 600 Peachtree Street, Northeast in Atlanta. It's my privilege and pleasure to represent Chick-fil-A in this application as well as the following 3 applications. If it's acceptable to the commission, I'd like to share my screen and just give an overview of the entire project. I realize you have to consider each application individually, but if I can take the time to go through it once, I promise I will have very abbreviated comments on the following 3 applications.
Okay. It's okay with me. Is that okay with the commissioners?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And
You may proceed.
Ms. Solomon, if I'm trying to share my screen, it says that the host has disabled that option. If you could allow
No
me to share.
problem. Can you try again? I just removed it for you.
Okay, there we are.
Great.
Just let me know when you can see it.
Look like it's still loading right now.
It just says David Kirk is sharing. Okay, thank you.
Got
Okay,
it.
Okay, can you see it now?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Again, David Kirk with Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders. With me this evening are several other members of our team. We have Rex Powell with Chick-fil-A. We have Mr. Al Richard, who's the operator of this store. We have Mr. Casey Durden, who's on the technical team, and we have my colleague, Ms. Jenna Lee. This application concerns the redevelopment of an existing Chick-fil-A. It was built in 1997 at 1065 Cleveland Avenue. That store is about a little over 3,300 square feet in size. Mr. Richard operates it with his team of nearly 70 team members. He's very engaged in the community, as I'm sure you all know. The majority of that site is zoned C1, which is the appropriate zoning. And the applications that are before you this evening involve the redevelopment of that site through the slight expansion of that building footprint as well as the site. That existing site is very constrained. Those of you who have visited the site probably know that better than I do, as I've only visited a couple of times. Very high demand. It has a single drive-through lane, has a limited, what we call stacking capacity, limited ability to have folks queue up, give their orders, and then pick up their food. And that's on the outside of the building. On the inside of the building, because it is one of the older designs, it's really a generation old, has a less efficient kitchen, a less efficient kitchen design, and that too has an impact on operations. What we're proposing to do with these applications is to expand the site to include, excuse me, not only the existing parcel at 1065 Cleveland, but a portion of the adjacent property at 1081 Cleveland, and then a small portion of a property that actually fronts on Jewel Street, but backs up to the existing property. On that site, we want to build a new restaurant that is about 330 square feet larger, slightly larger. It'll have much more efficient operations because of the new design. We've learned a lot in 25 years in terms of how to better manage the demand and improve customer service. That property will have 42 indoor seats, a dozen outdoor seats, 50 parking spaces, which is just really only about 4 more than the existing site has now. Importantly, it will have a double drive-through lane as well as a bypass lane, so that if someone gets in the queue and has to bypass the drive-through, they're able to do that safely. So the benefits of this reconfigured site, and I'll show you the concept plan in just a moment, is more efficient traffic flow, which makes for a safer environment, not only for our customers, but for our team members. There's some additional parking on site that will be far more accessible because of the double drive-through that will eliminate a lot of the congestion within the parking field, within the parking lot. That will also reduce demand for on-street parking. I'll show you the landscape plan as we go through the presentation, but greatly enhanced landscape all across the site, as well as defined accessibility for pedestrians from the sidewalk. Right now, if you're walking on Cleveland Avenue and want to come into the store, you essentially have to use a driveway and parking lot. So here's the site plan. And we went through this in detail at the work session, but just for those of you who may have not been at the work session, and certainly for the public, you'll see 3 different colored figures here. The main portion of the site, as you can see, is on the corner of East Cleveland and Blunt Street. You can probably just barely see, let me see if I can get my cursor over it. This outline here, that is the existing footprint of the current restaurant. It is not oriented toward the street. The front is really, well, the front is, but it's very small. And what we're talking about is rotating that footprint 90 degrees so that we give a good front presentation to Cleveland Avenue. Let me start back here because this is a new proposal that we'll talk about in one of the subsequent applications, but this area outlined in blue, following the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, we looked more closely at this and realized that this portion of the site, even though it's been used since 1997 for the restaurant purposes, is actually zoned medical institutional. So one of our requests before you this evening is to rezone that portion to C1 so it matches that of the existing site. We're also acquiring a portion of the adjacent property here outlined in gold. It too is currently zoned MI, and we're asking that it too be rezoned to C1. Outlined in green is a portion of this, the site on Jewel Street, small portion of that site that we are asking to be rezoned to C1 as well. We touched on this in the work session, but importantly, the remainder site does have over 7,500 square feet of space, so it will be a conforming lot for the R1A zoning that will remain on there. With regard to the variances, we're asking that the building itself be a little further back so that we can have the traffic circulation and parking that we really require for this location. Some of that will be in front of the front face of the building. That's another variance that we are requesting. And then back here, and it really shows up better on the landscape plan, we're asking for a reduction in the buffer between the C1 and these parcels that are still zoned R1, even though I'm not sure that either one are used primarily for residential purposes, but they are zoned as such. Here's the landscape plan. You'll see very robust landscaping along this back portion of the site, particularly in the area that we're asking for the variance. Also in the front here, some robust landscaping along the frontage. Similar, I would say probably perhaps even a little better than that associated with the bank just down the street that recently received a variance for the parking in front of the building as well. But overall, much more robust landscaping on the site than currently is there now. So with specific regard to the requests that are before you this morning, this afternoon, we have 3 rezoning requests. One being the rezoning of that portion of the site that somehow is zoned medical institutional, even though it's been used for these purposes for over 25 years. That's a new request from our last meeting to rezone the adjacent parcel or portion of the adjacent parcel at 1081 Cleveland Avenue from MI to C1, consistent with the zoning of the main parcel, and then the rezoning of a portion of that Jewel Street property from urban residential to C1 as well. The variance requests that I mentioned earlier, the building setback variance increased that build to zone, if you will, from 20 feet to 79 feet, allow the parking spaces to be provided between the primary elevation of the building and the street, and then to reduce that residential buffer along the back side. Here's some building elevations of the proposed new restaurant. This elevation here on the side is the one that faces Cleveland Avenue. That is the presentation from the road. A lot of a lot of windows, very attractive presentation to the street. This is the back side of the building that faces interior to the site, toward the parking area. And then the exterior elevations on the ends of the building, the one facing the drive-through, you can see here the service door. It's not just a window, because remember, it's a double drive-through. So this will allow team members to come out and deliver food to customers in either lane, and help expedite the service process. And then the other elevation that faces Blunt Street. So in conclusion, and we'll be happy to answer any questions at the appropriate time, we would ask that, respectfully request that you recommend approval of these different applications, the variances, the 3 concurrent variances that are the current agenda item we're talking about, as well as the subsequent 3 agenda items, the rezoning of Jewel Street, the rezoning of 1081 Cleveland, and then that new request since our last meeting to rezone the back portion of the existing 1065 Cleveland Avenue site. With that, appreciate your time, appreciate your patience as we've worked through this since our last meeting. Appreciate staff's time in helping us do that, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, and thank you so much for the presentation. I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that it's clear that we are, although you have a thorough presentation, and we really do appreciate that on the entire project, this agenda item is for case number 2022 V as a Victor 001-01. So at this time, are there any other proponents here to speak in favor of this zoning case? Any other proponents?
Madam,
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, we do have one attendee.
Okay.
As Hampton, I'm going to allow them to speak if they are a proponent.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hi, I just wanted to ask him what bank, the foliage on what bank on that street was he comparing it to?
Okay, thank you for 1 second. Before you answer that, could you please state your name?
Sharon Hampton.
I'm sorry, your full name and address?
Sharon.
Okay.
Hampton.
Compton. Did you get that, Miss the reporter?
Yes,
Were you
ma'am.
able to hear a full name? Okay, good. Okay, so your question, you had a question for the applicant, and not necessarily for the case, or?
No, just curious about the foliage. You mentioned a bank on Cleveland that he was trying to use as an example of the foliage on the front of the bank, the foliage.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Attorney Wiggins, at what point are we able to open it up? Right now, I know it's for proponents and opponents. When would the applicant be able to answer, if at all?
Unfortunately, the public hearing is just for comments. Obviously, the commission can ask questions, but the public is restricted to just minutes. Now,
Gotcha.
if the applicant has reserved any time for rebuttal and to address what has been brought up by the public, he can do so, but it's not a question.
Okay, and we would reserve that after closing the public hearing portion?
Well, the rules allow the applicant 15 minutes to present. I don't think he took 15 minutes, so technically, Mr. Kirk does have time for rebuttal. And that would come at the close of any proponent and opponent.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
And just for the record, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, or Co-Chair, excuse me, I would like to reserve any remaining time. Thank you.
Okay. That will be granted. So any other proponents for the case? Before I move on? All right, seeing none, are there any opponents here to speak against the zoning case? Any opponents? Okay, seeing none, commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing in this case.
okay. Is there a second?
Second. I second.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Fields, that we close the public hearing. All in favor? Sound A? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed, sound nay. All right. Well, hearing none, the ayes have it, and the public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation? Oh, do I have some?
Very sorry. There's like 3 of these cases.
Yeah, no worries.
1 second. I think I am frozen. Okay. This is, there we go. Okay.
Okay. In reference to case number 2022 V-001-10, a variance for 1065 Cleveland Avenue, applicant Hill Foley Rossi, Casey Durden. Taylor, is this the variance case?
So for this case, the one that's being shown now is the rezoning and variance. I put them together because it's the same address, but the first item on the agenda for old business is the variance.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The applicant is seeking a variance from expansion of parking at existing Chick-fil-A to include relief from the parking guidelines. He's also seeking a concurrent variance from setbacks as well as adjacent buffering from residential. Chick-fil-A is proposing to redevelop an existing Chick-fil-A building and parking areas. The new building is to be 3,686 square feet approximately, to include drive-throughs, parking areas, and infrastructure. The Chick-fil-A is seeking to rezone as well, and you will hear about that later on in the evening. The current zoning is C1. The future land use map designates this as it's actually in the Cleveland Overlay District and residential neighborhood. And staff recommendation is to approve, and also with 2 conditions, which is to provide a enhanced landscape plan, as well as a lot combination will be required.
Okay. Thank you, staff. I was just wondering, I know both is lumped together here. Do we need for your recommendation for the approval of the variance, do we need to separate it? Which one is the conditions for? Is it for?
We have presented it. I know that this slide has two different zoning cases, but we've only read into the record for the variance at this time. And when the zoning comes up, then we'll read that case into the record.
Okay, so
These conditions are for the variance.
it's for the variance, okay. All right. Thank you so much for clarifying that, especially for the commissioners. All right, commissioners, you have heard the applicant, and you've also heard from staff and their recommendation for the variance. Case number 2022V as in Victor 001-10. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Co-Chair, I move that we approve the variance request application.
Second,
That was Joseph. It's been moved.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, to make sure that that motion was with the conditions.
Yes, so
With the
Commissioner Fields.
conditions.
Okay, so Commissioner Fields, you made a motion that for approval of the variance for case number, let me just make sure. Case number 2022V as in Victor 001-01 with the conditions stated by staff.
That's correct.
And second by Commissioner Lovett.
yes, that is correct.
All right. And all right, so right now are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't even vote.
Not yet.
No, you did right, Madam Vice Chair, to
That's
open
right.
I'm
it
doing,
up
okay, I like
for
it.
discussion. You
Okay.
can open it up for discussion before the.
All right,
Well, we take the vote, yes.
yeah. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? All right, hear none, all in favor, sound aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. All right, the ayes have it, and your case has been approved.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's move to the next agenda item under old business, and that is case number 2022 R as in Randy, Z zebra -002-01. Staff, would you sound your case?
Yes, ma'am. In reference to item number 2 under old business, case number 2022RZ-002-10, the applicant Hill Foley Rossi LLC, Casey Durden, property located at 2684 Jewel Street. Applicant seeks to rezone a portion of a property from R1A to C1 for the expansion of a Chick-fil-A to include a new 3,686 square foot approximate building, drive-through and parking areas. Case type is a rezoning.
Okay, thank you so much. At this time, we will open the public hearing. Let's see here. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
All right, thank you. It has been moved to open the public hearing by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Levitt. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. All right, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. Let's see. Oh, do I need, okay, quick question. Do I need to, I don't have to do the rules of the public hearing again, do I?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's, the applicant, if you would like to introduce yourself again and state your case.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, my name again for the record is David Kirk with the law firm of Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, 600 Peachtree Street, Northeast in Atlanta. With regard to this application, by reference, I'll incorporate for the record my previous presentation. Be happy to answer any questions about that. And in the interest of time, I won't screen share unless there's a question regarding the application. But again, I'll incorporate by reference my previous presentation. We're happy to answer any questions. I'd like to reserve any time remaining for rebuttal if necessary. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Are there any other proponents to speak in favor of the zoning case? All right. Seeing none, are there any opponents here to speak against the zoning case? Any opponents? All right, commissioners, at this time, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Was that Joseph Fields the second?
Yes.
Okay. All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Lovett, seconded by Commissioner Miller, that we close the public hearing for case number 2022 RZ-002-10. All in favor? Sound aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Yes, in reference to case number 2022 RZ-002-10, property located at 2684 Drill Street, the applicant Hill Foley Rossi LLC, KC Durden, property currently zoned R1A, which is our urban residential zoning district. The request is for the applicant to rezone a portion of a property from R1A to C1 for the expansion of a Chick-fil-A to include a new 3,686 square foot approximate building, drive-through and parking areas.
Okay.
As stated, the property is currently zoned R1A and they're seeking to rezone to C1. The future land use map is a Cleveland overlay, and it's located in traditional urban neighborhood area. Staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request with the following condition: the remainder of the property located at 2684 Jewel Street must follow the ordinance R1A after the portion has been rezoned and a lot combination is required.
Okay. Thank you. I do have a question about the remainder of the property. This is referencing the, I can't even go back on the map. This is referencing that property that's partially residential and partially commercial.
The property is currently zoned R1A zoning district. Chick-fil-A will be acquiring a portion of this lot, and the remaining lot, the remaining lot must still abide by the minimum development standards for the R1A zoning district. So that's what the condition A is referencing when it's saying it must follow the zoning ordinance for R1A after the portion has been rezoned.
Okay. Okay. I have could you pull up the map for me really quickly? I mean, the actual presentation that showed the layout of the property for the case. I just wanted to see something.
Mr. Kirk, are you able to pull up your presentation, please?
Certainly. Let me
Thank
see.
you.
There we go.
Oh, someone's hand raised.
That was my hand, Madam Chair. I was going to offer to do what you asked me to do. So
Oh, okay.
minds think alike.
All right. Good. And
Can you
that's
see my screen
okay.
now?
Right. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. It's the track that's parallel to this, the green square.
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
the entire tract on, excuse me, on Jewel Street, the current track comes back to here and is zoned R1A. We're asking to rezone this back portion of the lot to C1, and that will be incorporated into the Chick-fil-A property. I believe the condition that Ms. Smith is referring to in general has to do with the minimum lot size of R1A properties. And that minimum lot size is 7,500 square feet. And this tract, the remainder of this Jewel Street tract will meet that minimum standard. It'll be slightly more than 7,500 square feet. So it will meet that minimum lot size. And with regard to the structure that's on there, it's an existing structure that Chick-fil-A obviously will not have any control over, because that will remain the property of Beal's Tools. But it will conform with regard to the lot size.
Okay. And then you know what? I just realized something. I'm asking questions and it's not doing time to actually ask questions. I am so sorry. Let me keep moving. Thank you so much for clarifying that for me.
Certainly.
Commissioners, you've heard from the applicant and you also heard from staff's recommendation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept staff's recommendations and also with the considerations of their additional requests.
Okay.
Second.
All right.
Second.
All right. Thank you. All right. It's been moved by Commissioner Miller and second by Commissioner Lovett that the body approves case number. Hold on. 2022 RZ-002-10. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. All opposed, say nay. All right. The ayes have it. Oh, I'm sorry. Hearing that, all in favor said aye. All right, we already said all that. The ayes have it. Your case has been approved.
Thank you so much.
All right, no worries. Okay. Let's move on to the next agenda item under old business. case number 2022-RZ-003-10.
Madam Vice Chair, in reference to item number 3 under old business, case number 2022-RZ-003-10, the applicant Hill Foley Ross LLC, KC Durden, property located at 1081 East Cleveland Avenue. Applicant seeks a rezoning of a portion of a property from MI to C1 for the expansion of a Chick-fil-A to include a new 3,686 square foot approximate building, an area building, drive-through, and parking areas. Case type is a rezoning.
Okay, thank you, Director Smith. At this time, we will open up the public hearing. I'm sorry, hear from the actual applicant. In this case.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, David Kirk, Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, 600 Peachtree Street, representing Chick-fil-A in this matter. I'll incorporate my previous presentation for the record with regard to this application item. This is the property immediately to the west of the existing Chick-fil-A site that would be incorporated into the future site and would be combined together with the existing Chick-fil-A property and the Jewel Street property that you're recommending the rezoning of. Again, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. If it would be helpful for me to bring up the screen, I'd be happy to do that if you'd like, but be happy to answer any questions and would like to reserve any time if necessary for rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. All right, at this time, we will open the public hearing for case number 2022-RZ-003-10. Let's see. Are there any proponents here to speak in favor of the case? Any proponents? All right. Hearing none, seeing none.
Madam Vice Chair. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I don't know if I've heard a motion to open the public hearing for this one. I may have missed it.
I believe I said it, but maybe not. So I'll go ahead and state it again. Commissioners, at this time, I would like to open the public hearing for case number 2022-RZ-003-10.
Madam Chair, motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, thank you. The Commissioner Fields.
Yes.
It's been moved by Commissioner Fields and second by Commissioner Miller that we open the public hearing for case number 2022. Sorry, my screen keeps going away. 2022-RZ-003-10. Are there any? And this is Attorney Wiggins. I was doing it for the record. I thought I did it, but I could have skipped it. So do I need to have the applicant state the case again?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, good. So are there any proponents for this case? Seeing none, are there any opponents here to speak against the zoning case? All right, commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
Joseph Fields.
Yes.
Okay. All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Joseph Fields and seconded by Commissioner Miller that we close the public hearing for case number 2022 RZ-003-10. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. All right, hearing none. The ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you sound your recommendation?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, in reference to case number 2022 RZ-003-10, property located at 1081 East Cleveland Avenue. The applicant Hill Foley Rossi LLC, KC Durden. The property is currently zoned MI, Medical Institutional District. The request is seeking a rezoning for a portion of property to be rezoned from Medical Institutional District to C1 for the expansion of a Chick-fil-A to include a new building, drive-through, and parking areas. Again, the property of the zoning, zoning of the property is currently zoned MI, Medical Institutional District in the Cleveland overlay. The future land use of the property is traditional urban neighborhood. Staff's recommendation of case number 2-2022 RZ-003-10. Staff recommends approval of the applicant's request with the following condition: the remainder of the property located at 1081 Cleveland Avenue must follow the MI district, minimum district class, zoning district classifications after the portion has been rezoned, and the remaining lot must be combined, a lot combination is required, excuse me.
Okay. I guess here's this, it's the same question I had for the last time. Attorney Wiggins, I just wanted to, I guess my question is just making sure that it's worded where, you know, anyone outside of us would understand what the remainder mean. Do we need to say, do we need to be more specific than that? Or is that good enough being clear?
If you don't mind, Madam Vice Chair, if I can have the staff just post their recommendation again so I can read. Thank you, Taylor. Approval of the evidence request with the following condition. If I could just ask a question, is the idea for them to subdivide and then add the portion that they're taking from this property to their property?
Yes.
And so maybe we put that the remainder after the subdivide and the replatting of whatever the address is. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to, yeah, it makes sense to me. I just want to make sure it's, you know.
Madam Chair, and Attorney Wiggins, I'd be happy to provide some clarity on what the intent is following the rezoning, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Would that be acceptable?
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Fields.
Oh, I thank you for this opportunity, but I was reading the MI zoning already includes provisions for eateries. It's in subsection 13. If staff could pull that up, the MI, and see what's allowed in that district. I believe that, so I'm saying if that's the case, we wouldn't really have to rezone this particular piece of property. It's already zoned in there, and it allows for restaurants, drive-throughs and such. If, staff could pull that up and show that particular part of the ordinance and see if it applies to this case.
We can pull it up. Commissioner, may I speak?
Yeah.
Madam, okay.
Yes.
We could go ahead and pull it up. However, it does not apply to this case. Once that the property, the portion of the property that they're going to acquire, it's going to be added to their existing C1 property. We do not like to have split zonings between properties. So the intention is to combine it and to rezone it to the remaining property, to the existing Chick-fil-A property. So we want all of the properties that they're going to acquire to all have the same zoning districts.
C1, okay, C1, okay.
Yes.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you,
thank you.
Mr. Smith, for clearing that up for everyone. Let's see, the applicant, I believe you have wanted to.
Yes,
Sure.
and I'm going to try to share my screen again, if that's all right.
Is that okay at this time? I think this is the time. Attorney Wiggins?
Oh, yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Let's try to do this here. There we go. It's loading at the moment. There we go. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you for the question, Commissioner Fields, and Ms. Smith was right. We want to have consistent zoning across the entire site. This is the portion of the adjacent property that we will be acquiring. And you can see here a line here. This will be the remainder. That portion will be combined with the existing property owned by Teens at Work. They also own this property. So essentially it will result in they'll have one lot that's slightly larger than their existing lot. And then the remainder of that second lot that they owned will be rezoned to C1 and incorporated into the Chick-fil-A property. So there'll be a lot combination here of these two of the remainder plus the existing, what's called track 2. And then the acquisition track will become part of the Chick-fil-A property and will be combined as well. And I hope that's clear. If not, I can try to say it a different way.
Yes, it's clear. Do any other commissioners have any questions about that? And staff, were we able to make the adjustment on the recommendation?
Oh, I think Attorney Kirk was wanting or offering to provide some legal not legal terminology, but just some wordsmith terminology for clarification. And prior to you all stating if that was okay, I think another question was asked.
Okay, so we'll go back to it. Let's see. The property attendant must follow the zoning and bond after the property is.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, because I was not finished and I'm waiting for everyone's input.
Maybe we say the remainder of the property located at 1081 Cleveland shall be combined with the existing property at 1087 Cleveland in order to follow the zoning ordinance after the after a portion of the 1081 Cleveland property is rezoned.
All right, so the remainder of the property located at 1081 East Cleveland shall be combined with the existing property at
1087 Cleveland Avenue, or
1087.
1087 East Cleveland.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Madam Vice Chair, but would it not be simpler to say after the subdivide of 1081 East Cleveland? And maybe we put the amount of acreage or the amount of square feet that Chick-fil-A is taking, the remainder of the property, and finish the sentence?
That would be fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, that way it wouldn't be so,
Wordy.
yeah. Could you state that one more time for Ms. Solomon so she can?
No problem. After the subdivide.
So going back, yeah.
So would you like me to take this entire
That's
thing?
the beginning. The beginning of the sentence is after the subdivide of 1081 East Cleveland.
The beginning of the sentence, Ms. Solomon. Yep.
Okay.
Start at A, right after A. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
After the subdivide.
And then the address.
Would it be 1087? That's the subdivide, East Cleveland?
1081.
1081, okay. After the subdivide of property at 1081. Yeah.
And then comma, the remainder of the property. Does that get us there, Mr. Kirk?
I believe so. The remainder of the property, I think what you're saying is the remainder of the property shall be combined with the property at 1087 East Cleveland.
Well, I think we need to separate those two because we've got two conditions. One is that what's left, which you're not taking, is going to have to adhere to whatever zoning it has separate and apart from you. And then the part you are taking, that's condition number 2, must be combined with 1087. I think we should separate those and not try to put them in one condition.
I'm sorry, the portion we are taking, and I think this is where we're running into a little confusing. The portion we are acquiring will be combined with 1065 East Cleveland, which is the existing Chick-fil-A property. The portion of that lot that we are not acquiring will need to be combined with the property to the west that is also owned by the same owner at 1087 Cleveland.
Okay, makes sense. Even with that understanding, I think we take them separately.
Yes. Oh, I agree. I agree.
Okay. So legally, and just to make it clear for Ms. Sullivan, so
maybe we say the portion of the property of the 1081 East Cleveland property to be rezoned shall be combined with the 1065 East Cleveland Avenue property.
is that the lot combination, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Lot combination is required. That's what she had.
Yeah.
How about lot combination is required with 1065?
That's fine.
Good enough. Okay.
If Attorney Wiggins is comfortable with that, I'm comfortable with it.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
All right,
the lot combination is required for the remainder.
No, not for the remainder.
Okay.
Lot combination is required with 1065, whatever.
East Cleveland.
East Cleveland. Okay, and then after the subdivided property, look at it, I mean, our property shall be combined,
Can this go first? Nothing, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. And then after for A, the condition A, after the subdivision of the property located at 1081 East Cleveland, the remainder of the property shall be combined with 1087 Cleveland Avenue. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Want to do that?
Yeah, we just need a D on combined.
Yep, combined in A at the end of that line. There we go.
Okay.
Madam Co-Chair, sorry to
Yes.
interrupt, but Chairman Atkins is trying to get access as a commissioner. Can someone let him in?
Oh, sure.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
All right, no problem. Staff, could you, now that we made the changes, could you repeat your recommendation for this case, just for clarity?
Staff recommendation in reference to case number 2022RZ-003-10. Staff recommends approval of the applicant's request with the following conditions. 1, after the subdivide of the property located at 1081 East Cleveland, the remainder of the property shall be combined with 1087 East Cleveland Avenue. Condition number 2, lot combination is required with 1065 East Cleveland Avenue.
Thank you. And for the record, I do want to acknowledge, is Chair Atkins on?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Doing a fabulous job, Madam Vice Chair, so please continue. I can hop on at some other point, so go ahead, I'm following.
All right, just for the record, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All
Thank you.
right. All right, commissioners, you've heard from the applicant and you've also heard staff recommendation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Before we have a motion, I need to raise my hand. I can't let it go by.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On your write-up, can you show that again, please, Ms. Solomon?
Yes, ma'am.
It should be applicants as in ownership, possessive. Approval of the applicant's request with the following conditions.
An
Oh.
apostrophe S, okay, yes?
Okay, and I have a question, and it may not make any sense. My question may not apply. Put it back up, please.
Yes, ma'am.
The last, under B, lot combination is required with 1065 East Cleveland Avenue. Okay, so I'm just looking for the straight line here, combination, because I'm lost. Lot combination is required with 1065. So we're putting everything. Is this whole project going to have one single address and it's going to be 1065?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So when it's all smoothed out, it's going to be 1065 East Cleveland Avenue. Okay, that answers that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Levitt. All right, can you lower your hand and let me see if there's any other. All right, I do not see any. All right, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept staff recommendations on this case, including the conditions as stated.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Miller has made a motion to accept staff's recommendation with conditions, and seconded by Commissioner Lovett. Let's see. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Vice Chair, you
Yes.
need to open it up for discussion.
Oh,
Right.
okay, sorry. I'm trying to keep it moving. All right, you're right. And second, let's see, I'll just repeat that. It's been moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Lovett, that this body approve the case number, let's see. Hold on, let me get the case number. 2022 RZ003-10.
Yes.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right. All opposed? That everyone, all opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. Your case have been approved.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Now, all right, we're going to move on to new business on the agenda. Staff, would you state your case? Okay, we're moving to case number 2023 RZ-004-01. Our next agenda item under new business. Staff, would you please state your case?
Madam Vice Chair, in reference to new business, item number 1, case number 2023 RZ-004-01. Applicant Hill Foley Rossi, LLC, property located at 1065 East Cleveland Avenue. Chick-fil-A is proposing to redevelop an existing Chick-fil-A building and a new building, approximately 3,686 square feet in area. The building, drive-through.
Director Smith, can you hold? I'm sorry, can I interrupt you 1 second? Can everyone please mute their phones? Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Property located at 1065 East Cleveland Avenue. Chick-fil-A is proposing to redevelop an existing Chick-fil-A building and parking areas, a new 3,686 square foot in area building, drive-throughs, parking areas, and infrastructure is proposed. Chick-fil-A seeks to rezone a portion of the property to C1. Case type is rezoning.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Lovett. It's been moved by Commissioner Lovett that and seconded by Commissioner Fields, Joseph Fields.
Yes, Joseph.
That we open the public hearing for our new business case number, let's see, 2023 RZ-004-01. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say nay. All right, here none, ayes have it. The public hearing is now open for case number 2023 RZ-00401. Would the applicant please state your first and last name?
Madam Chair, I think everybody on the call could probably do that for me by this point, but for the record, again, my name is David Kirk with the law firm of Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, 600 Peachtree Street, Northeast in Atlanta, representing Chick-fil-A. As I said earlier, I'm incorporating by reference my previous comments with regard to the previous cases. This is the portion of the property that has been used for 25 years as a Chick-fil-A restaurant, but we discovered during the last several weeks that it's actually zoned MI, and as I believe Director Smith stated, the goal here is to have one consistent zoning throughout the entire site that Chick-fil-A intends to redevelop. That's the purpose behind this, is to take the portion of the property that's been used for Chick-fil-A for 25 years and bring its zoning into consistency with the majority of the Chick-fil-A tract. With that, we're happy to answer any questions you might have, and if necessary, I'd like to reserve any time I have remaining for rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, at this time, are there any proponents here to speak in favor of the zoning case? Okay, are there any opponents? All right. All right, seeing none, commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Commissioner Lovett and second by Commissioner, is that Miller?
Atkins.
Who was it?
Atkins.
Atkins, okay. And Commissioner Atkins, that we close the public hearing for case number 2023 RZ-004-001. Okay. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair. And number 2023 RZ-004-01, property located at 1065 Cleveland Avenue. Staff recommends approval of the applicant's request to rezone a portion of the property from MI to C1 with the following conditions. Number 1, to provide an enhanced landscaping plan, and number 2, lot combination is required.
Okay. And do we need to just update with the same, just like the other one, lot combination required with 1065 Cleveland Avenue?
That is 1065.
Or, no, I'm sorry, let's see. Do we need to include the other addresses? Attorney Wiggins.
Can staff put that recommendation up again, please? The address for this one is 10.
Yeah, the address for this one is the 1065. So I was wondering if we needed to include all of the other addresses that's being combined.
Right, because 1081 is being combined with this one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kirk, and also 1087? A portion.
This property is already addressed as 1065 East Cleveland. We're simply eliminating the split zoning on this property. So I don't believe the lot combination needs to reference 1065 because it is already 1065.
I think the recommendation here is that 1065, I guess, receive the portions of the other addresses that are going to be coming in. Does that make sense? Not that 1065 is doing anything, because that's going to remain as the main address, but it will be where the other two addresses will combine into.
Right.
Maybe
So you're right.
we may be able to delete this recommendation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You may not need the recommendation on 1065 because that's the one.
The primary.
It's not being combined, right?
Right. It's just a zoning line that we're eliminating.
Staff will strike condition number 2.
Okay. All right, very good. And so just for the record, could you, staff, could you sound your recommendation again for this case?
In reference to case number 2023RZ-004-01, property located at 1065 Cleveland Avenue, staff recommends approval of the applicant's request to rezone a portion of the property from MI Medical Institutional to C1 with one condition to provide a enhanced landscaping site plan.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. Commissioners, you've heard from the applicant. And you've also heard from the staff and their recommendation. At this time, I entertain a motion. Okay, commissioners, y'all still with me? I'd like to entertain a motion.
I think,
Madam Vice Chair, I do have my hand raised, and I had my hand raised for the portion that was dealing with conditions. If staff could please go back to their conditions. Could you put it back on the screen, please?
I'm sorry, I couldn't see the hand. Let me see. All right, Commissioner Atkins, you have the floor.
Yes, could you read that again, please? That one condition that we've narrowed it down to.
Staff recommends approval of the applicant's request with the following conditions: enhance landscaping.
For all that will become 1065, because we're combining. I want to make sure that it's not just for what is currently 1065, but for all that will become 1065 East Cleveland Avenue. That is what I was going to offer.
Okay, that makes sense. Ms. Solomon, are you all in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. For all that will become 1065
Cleveland Avenue.
Oh, East Cleveland, okay. All right. Commissioners, are there any other, well, I will get to that part. All right, very good. So at this time, I entertain a motion.
We're going from M1 to C1, is that correct? I can't see the zoning.
It's MI Medical Institutional.
Okay, MI to C1?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Vice Chair, I move that we recommend approval of the rezoning from MI to C1 with the condition as stated by.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Atkins and second by Commissioner Fields that we approve case number 2023 RZ-004-01 with with staff recommendations. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed,
Aye.
say nay. All right. It's been moved. I'm sorry, we already voted. I didn't even ask if there are any questions.
Did the questions.
I know, it seemed like we've already done that. So since we've already done the comments, questions, or concerns, we will move on to the next case. The ayes have it and your case have been approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and commissioners. Really appreciate your patience and your good discussion, your good questions. And we look forward to hopefully the City Council accepting your recommendations next month and to better serving the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much, Mr. Kirk. All right, moving on to our next agenda item, new business. It's case number 2023 V as in Victor -001-01. Staff, would you sound your case?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, in reference to new business, item number 2, case number 2023V-001-01, the applicant Gail Mooney, property located at 3105 Jones Street. Applicant seeks relief from additional 25-foot stream buffer, which is 75 feet, to build a new single-family home. Case type is a stream buffer variance.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner Lovett, second by Commissioner Miller, that we open the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hear none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. For case number 2023 V as a Victor -001-01. Will the applicant please state your case? Is the applicant on the call? Okay.
I'm sorry, this is Julio Bayona, representing the company owner of the property. Here is Ms. Gail Mooney.
Okay. And your name again, can you repeat that for me?
Julio Bayona.
Bayona. Okay, thank you so much.
You would also need to state his address.
Oh, can you state your address as well?
Yes, ma'am. 3105 John Street.
Thank you. All right. You're speaking on behalf of the applicant, so you may begin.
It's going to be Ms. Gail Mooney. She's going to be speaking on behalf of our company.
Oh, is Ms. Mooney on the line?
Yes, she's there. I don't know, we cannot hear. Listen to her.
Ms. Mooney, can you hear us? We see her.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to call her real quick? Because she is on the line. I don't know if she's,
I'm calling her right now, Miss.
thank you. Commissioner Atkins, I see your hand is raised. Did you still have a question? Or is that from the last case?
So very sorry. I just lowered it, I think.
Okay, no worries.
Hello. Okay.
Gail Mooney. I'm on the phone.
Okay, we cannot hear you through the computer, but I have you in the speaker. Ms. Knight, do you mind telling me if you can hear Ms. Mooney? Go ahead, Gail.
Can you all hear me? This is Gail.
Yes, Ms. Mooney, could you state your full name and current address?
Sure. My full name is Gail Mooney. My current address is 660 Lake Drive, Snellville 30039.
Okay, you may begin your case.
Okay, thank you very much. We are applying for a stream buffer variance to build a new single-family home on an established lot in the city of East Point. And there was a previous structure on the lot, but it had to be demolished. And so we are requesting an encroachment into between the 75 and the 50-foot. But we would not be encroaching any more than we would not be encroaching between the 50 and the 25.
Okay. Is that the, and do you have any other information, or that's all you have for your case?
Yes, I believe you all have been provided with a site plan that we had proposed, and during the session, we worked through many variations of what could be built there. But the fact of the matter is that because of the 35-foot front setback and the 75-foot setback, it squeezes any buildable area out of the lot without some form of variance.
Okay. All right. Well, we will continue on. Just thank you, Ms. Mooney, for your presenting your case. Are there any other proponents here to speak in favor of this zoning case? Are there any other proponents? All right. Seeing none, are there any opponents here to speak against the zoning case? All right, commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right. Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Fields and second by Commissioner Atkins that we close the public hearing for case number 2023 V as in Victor -001-01. All in favor, saying aye.
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 All opposed, sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Yes. Second. Can we go to, yes, that first slide. Thank you, Taylor. In reference to case number 2023V-001-01, property located at 3105 Jones Street, the applicant Gail Mooney, their property that has a zoning of R1 Urban Residential Zoning District, is requesting to seek relief from the additional 25-foot stream buffer to build a single-family new home. The current zoning as stated on the map is R1. Is R1A Urban Residential District. And staff recommends approval to encroach into the 50-foot undisturbed natural vegetative buffer and into the additional 25-foot setback as required within sections 10-12021, section 1, and section 10-12021, section or part 2, with the following condition: any encroachment into the 25-foot state buffer requires our EPD approval. And I'd like to add to the record that we would like to know from the applicant the least amount of buffer that will be required, or that is being requested.
Look at the plan. I know that we are not encroaching into the 25-foot buffer. We are only encroaching definitely into the 75 and a small portion into the 50. Give me just 1 second. Look at this. And that's not the one I want. Give me just a second to find the correct DWG file. Here we go. Okay, so the amount that we are encroaching into the 50-foot buffer is approximately 20. I got the right line here. This is 50, maybe 10 feet into the 50-foot buffer.
I can't tell.
Right plan that try opening up the PDF that I had earlier, but it does not have the dimensions because it's just scaled. So give me just 1 second.
Okay. Commissioner Lovett and Commissioner Fields, I do see your hand raised, and I will get to you. I just want to give her a moment to.
Okay, I do have it pulled up now. And so the extent that we are going to encroach into the most that we are going to encroach into the 50-foot buffer is 3.5 feet after construction. So with construction, we will have a 5-foot work zone around the proposed house, but the actual permanent structure will be 3.5 feet into the 50-foot buffer.
And what is the relief amount for the 25-foot setback?
What do you mean the 20? Oh, for the well, we're not even close to the 25-foot stream buffer. So when I requested that, it was a misnomer. We were actually requesting relief from 75-foot stream buffer and the 50, but we are not encroaching into the state buffer, which is the 25 feet.
Okay. All right.
We have a site plan that we submitted. And so if you can pull that up.
That might be helpful. A couple of commissioners have the question. I'm going to.
Madam Attorney, may I ask a question in reference to the staff recommendation?
If it's okay with Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, it is. And then we'll go into the commissioner questions.
Okay. It's staff's intent in our recommendation for approval to state the specific number and feet of relief that is being asked for. And based on the information that we received, it appears that a 10-foot encroachment into the 50-foot buffer is what is being asked. And so we want to state that in the record as our condition. And I may need some help with the wordsmithing, and I apologize for that.
Well, we could certainly,
I was speaking with the attorney, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Director Smith, so your request is that the amount of relief that she's seeking in both buffers be required up front. Is that correct?
Yes, that's our recommendation for approval, is for the least, really for the number that they're asking for in relief. And as she just stated, it's 10 feet of relief from the 50-foot buffer. So that's what our recommendation of approval is for. And the condition is for 10 feet. Well, actually,
so then your
3.5, excuse me. It was 3.5 feet, excuse me.
And so then the ask is for 3.5 foot variance in the 50-foot buffer and 0 in the 25-foot. Is that correct?
So do we even need to include the 25-foot?
I believe that the 25-foot is included in the 75. So there's a 50-foot buffer and then an additional 25. The 25 state buffer, they're not encroaching on that. And if they do, they have to get approval from EPD, which is the state.
So then the recommendation needs to, if she's only asking for 3.25 and you are recommending approval, then there is no additional condition. The variance would be only for what she's asking. So if she needed 4, that's not what she asked for, right? She only asked for 3.25.
Right.
So you wouldn't need a condition unless there's some other condition. You wouldn't need a condition on the number if you're recommending approval at her ask.
Okay,
And hopefully
I guess what I'm wanting to state for the record is that staff is recommend approval to encroach into the 50-foot buffer by 3.25 feet.
That's your recommendation.
Yes.
With no conditions, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that's the recommendation.
So is it 3.25 feet or square feet?
Should be feet.
It's just feet.
Okay. All right, just to be clear. And then the rest of the sentence and into the additional 25 as required, we can take that out?
No, they want to encroach on the 25-foot additional buffer.
They won't, right?
They want to. They are requesting to.
Oh, I thought she was saying that she would not be. Okay.
Is
right.
there a graphic? Is there a graphic that goes with this that will clearly illustrate the 25-foot buffer and the 50-foot buffer and what their footprint is so that we could clearly see this? I specifically asked of these things from Ms. Mooney last week in preparation for this meeting. Do we have those things?
Ms. Mooney is asking you. We do
Am I
have.
still muted?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, what was that question, Commissioner Fields?
It's
We
Chairman
never see-
Atkins.
Atkins.
I'm sorry, your Chairman Atkins.
Yes. So is there a graphic that shows the footprint as proposed and also the 25-foot buffer and the 50-foot buffer and the depth into which you would like to encroach?
Absolutely. You'll let me share my screen, I will put it on.
She's requesting permission to
All
share her screen. Is that okay?
Okay, so I am
Yeah.
sharing my screen. Yeah, can everybody see? This is a DWG file, which allows me to kind of manipulate and add in data. So if anybody has any questions, they can certainly ask me, but this is the 75-foot buffer right here. Here's the 50-foot buffer
Can you use your mouse?
right here.
Because I don't see your mouse.
It's black.
You don't see my mouse? Okay.
Okay.
No,
All right,
no,
I just
no.
highlighted the 75-foot buffer. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the arrow that points to it says 75-foot buffer? Okay, great. Here is the 50-foot buffer right here. Okay, so what we are requesting is that when we build this house, we would need a work zone around the construction area that would allow us to encroach. And I have this number here because if we have 5 feet of work zone, it would be 7.8 feet here. And so that is the most that we are asking for the construction. But this encroachment here is that's the 3.5 feet. So the permanent house will only encroach 3.5 feet into the 50-foot buffer.
But it's more, okay. Madam Vice Chair, I think that we're ahead of ourselves because there's a lot of discussion on this and we do not have a motion or a second. And so I think that we need to get a motion and a second to
So
be
we
able
can-
to have all of this discussion that we're having.
Okay. All right, you are correct. So commissioners, before we move on, is there I'll entertain a motion on this case.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
based on the information that we've received, I move that we defer this for 30 days until we can clearly get the amount that the encroachment needs to be for this project.
Second,
That was second by, was it Joseph or
Mark,
Fields.
Mark
Mark
Fields?
Fields.
Okay. All right.
And I should say, instead of 30 days,
The encroachment tonight,
I'm sorry, Miss Mooney.
I know.
Miss Mooney, Miss Mooney, you would have to be recognized to speak. The public hearing is closed. And I just would like to clarify my motion because I said 30 days. And to clarify that the motion is for till our next regularly scheduled meeting. And Commissioner Mark Fields, is your second still stand?
Yes, it does.
All right, thank you.
All right. So it's been moved by Commissioner Atkins and seconded by Commissioner Fields that this body defer this case to our next scheduled meeting. Are there any,
Yeah, you can open up for discussion because there's a
Okay.
motion in a second, okay?
all right.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I just want to be able to clearly see the amount of encroachment that the applicant is requesting, and I do not clearly see that. And that is troubling to me because I want to know what this is a variant, and so we're the final arbiters for this particular case. And so I want to know very specifically how far they need to go into the buffer. Additionally, I don't think that staff was even clear, so I don't know if that's been clearly communicated to staff exactly how far they need to go into that buffer. And of course, we would want it to be whatever the minimum would need to be. And so that is not clear to me this evening. And I'm almost certain that I did request these things because I have an interest in this. I don't want us to be encroaching so far into stream buffers because of environmental issues. And so I specifically asked that. I'm not clear.
Gotcha. And Chair Atkins, I think we had needed to vote on it first and then open it up.
No, the
Start off
motion,
discussion.
With the motion, okay, it's open for
Yeah.
discussion. All right,
Right.
so I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge the other commissioners who've had their hand raised for a while, just to make sure, you know, addressing everyone. It was first with Commissioner Levitt. Do you still have a comment?
I do not. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Next it was Commissioner Joseph Fields. Did you have a comment?
Yes, I had commented on the work session that it appeared to me that the house that they want to put up is not the same type that's been there before or in that R1A section. So I was wondering, and also there's an infill ordinance that exists, talking about how new properties, new housing should be put into an already existing plat. So I was wondering, is that house going to conform to the type of housing that's in that area? So that's my question, and I think that's a consideration that the applicant should take it under advisement.
Okay. Well, currently we do have a deferral on, motion of deferral on the table. So it may give an opportunity for the applicant to do that in a follow-up work session. Is that?
Also, I'd like for her to have some drawings of the proposed structure that's going to go in there, so we can see clearly exactly what type of housing she's talking about, and why it doesn't fit into the area that's already allotted for that type of housing. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Fields. And hopefully the applicant will take that into consideration. And, you know, she hears your comments. Commissioner Mark Fields.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Most of my concerns has just been addressed by Chairman Atkins and Commissioner Fields. I also recall the applicant having a conversation about variances for the front as well. So it seems like this has been brought before us without a whole bunch of things nailed down, and I was expecting to see a rendering. I was expecting to see clear design, and these setbacks that you have an interactive program, and you're changing it, you know, as we're speaking, and I don't understand what you're trying to get here. So thank you. That I appreciate the moment to voice that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Commissioner Fields. I appreciate that and your comments. I see a hand raised for you, Mr. Hill, but the public hearing has already been closed. So we will move on to Director Smith.
Yes, I wanted to address Commissioner Fields in reference to the infill application. The infill application would be triggered at the time that they submit for building plans, and the house would have to conform to all of those requirements set forth in that article of our zoning code. So that would be handled at that time. And then as far as the rendering with all of the setbacks on there, what we would like to see as a staff is clear markings of which buffer the request is for, and then how much in feet is the request for. That's what we need to know. And if there are any additional setbacks that the proposal is asking for setback variances, we need to know that as well. And that's all. And we'll meet with the applicant offline. We'll have time to do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Commissioners, we currently have a motion on the floor, and that's to defer case number 2023V-001-01 to our next scheduled meeting. It's been by Commissioner.
Yes, yes,
By
go ahead.
Atkins and seconded by Commissioner Mark Fields. Let's see, are there, well, we need to vote on it, so.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. We will move on. This case will be deferred to our next scheduled meeting. Our next agenda item is under new business is for case number 2023 T's and Tom A's Apple -001-02. Staff, would you sound your recommendation? I'm sorry, not your recommendation. Would you sound your case, please?
Yes.
What happened to number 3?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong. Looking at the
We are
wrong
on the
one.
third, we are on the third case under new business.
Madam Vice
I
Chair,
see.
in reference to item number 3 under new business, case number 2023TA-001-02. The applicant is the City of East Point. The property is citywide. And this is an ordinance to amend Part 10 Zoning and Development, Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article A, Building Code, to repeal Section 10-004, Registration, Bond, and Correction of Code Violations, Section 10-3004.1, Code Compliance Bond, Exceptions, and Section 10-3005, Penalties. This is a text amendment.
Okay, thank you so much, Director Smith. I'll entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
I move that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Second. The second, I could not see. Who was that?
Joe Fields.
Okay. All right. All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Atkins and second by Commissioner Joseph Fields that we open the public hearing for case number 2023 T as in Tom A Apple -001-02. At this time, all in favor saying aye.
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 You're doing great.
Aye.
You're doing great.
You know I'm winding down now, okay? All
You're
opposed?
doing great. You're doing great.
It's been 2
We're
hours.
almost
y'all.
there. We're almost there.
All
Almost
opposed
there.
say nay, almost to the finish line, okay. All right. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. Let's see, are there any, for staff, do you need to state your case again?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Right.
In reference to this text amendment, the intent of this text amendment is to eliminate the bond requirement on building permits as well as trade permits, which would include plumbing, electrical, and mechanical permits. Our ordinance currently states that there is a $10,000 bond in some instances and a $25,000 bond in other instances required prior to applicants seeking building permits and trades permits, prior to seeking issuance of those permits. After a considerable amount of research has been done in similar cities of population and around Metro Atlanta and in the state of Georgia, we have come to the conclusion that this bond requirement is not industry standard. And with the movement that we're currently on to streamline our permitting process for the citizens and the applicants and investors in the city of East Point, this is one of the low-hanging fruits that we're able to address in a matter of just making a simple amendment to our code of ordinances for the city. And with that being said, it is our intent to remove that bond requirement to improve and to streamline the permit issuance process for the city.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you so much for stating your case. Are there any other proponents in favor of this case? Are there any opponents? All right. All right, seeing none, commissioners, at this time, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So
Motion
moved.
to Close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner, was that Miller? And seconded by Commissioner Atkins, that we close the public hearing for case number, I did not write the case. What's the case number? The text.
The case number is 2023 TA-001-02.
001-002. Thank you so much. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, saying nay. Here are none, the ayes have it, and the public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Yes. In reference to case number 2023 TA-001-02, staff recommends approval to amend an ordinance, Part 10, Zoning and Development, Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article A, Building Code, to repeal bond requirements, including but not limited to Section 10-3004, registration, bond, and corrections of code violations, Section 10-3004.1, code compliance bond, exception, and Section 10-3005 penalties.
Okay. Thank you so much, Director Smith. Commissioners, you've heard from the applicant, you heard staff's recommendation. I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, I move that we recommend approval of the text amendment as stated by staff.
Second.
Okay, thank you so much, commissioners. It has been moved by Commissioner Atkins and seconded by Commissioner Fields, Joseph Fields, that this body approves case number 2023 recommend approval for case number 2023 TA-001-002. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns?
No, the only comment that I have is, staff, thank you so much for working on this. And then the question that I have is, I would like for this to be an and two. So we'll continue to work on improving the permitting processes, correct?
That is correct. This is one on our low-hanging fruit list. Yes.
Okay,
We have
thank
many
you.
improvements coming your way.
Thank you.
Yay! I'm so excited.
Great, thank you.
All right, great. All right, commissioners, all in favor? Say aye.
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 All right, all opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. And the recommendation for approval for this text amendment is going forward to council. All right. Where are we now on the agenda?
Announcements, I think.
Yeah.
Are there any announcements? No
I don't
announcement?
know. No, I don't have an.
Is that Mr. Commissioner Fields? I don't know, I think I lost you.
Yeah, I'm back again, I think. Now, I saw someone on the grid from the water department that I saw. Am I right with that? Can we see everybody?
Yes. Good evening.
Oh, Director of Water and Sewer.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I had a question. I mean, I had a question because I had a problem. I don't want to turn it into a personal thing, but
Commissioner Fields, Commissioner
Yes.
Fields, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The announcement must be germane to a planning and zoning matter, or it can't be a personal sort of situation.
Well,
It
I
needs to be
understand.
for the good of the body.
For the good of the body, it's really not a personal thing. I think it's a citywide problem
Okay.
that happened to me. So
Okay.
I'm trying to reach out to figure out some sort of solution for future other people that may run into this particular type of thing, so that the city can actually stand behind itself and their building codes and things of that nature. And my thing is that
And Commissioner Fields, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interject. We want to just stick to the agenda, and since right now
Okay, well.
with the announcements, what we'll do is Director Smith or Ms. Solomon will get you in contact with our Director of Water and Sewer, and then, so that you'll be able to have a discussion with her directly. Is that okay with you?
that sounds great.
That was okay with you, Direct? Okay, all right, awesome.
What's your name, ma'am?
I'm sorry. I apologize. My name is Melissa Echeverria.
All right.
Melissa Maria. Do you have a phone number? You can, I don't know what, okay, do that through email if you.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll make sure you get her contact information, Commissioner Fields. Okay.
Okay, please do.
All right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow up with that.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, are there any other announcements? All right, at this time, Commissioners, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Vice Chair, I move that we adjourn our regularly scheduled March meeting.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Commissioner Atkins and seconded by Commissioner Fields that we adjourn our meeting this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, all
Been a
opposed?
blast. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good evening,
A
everyone.
wonderful evening.
Good night.
Thank you for
Great.
sticking it out with me.
Great job, Commissioner McKnight.
Great job,
Great
McKnight.
job. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Commissioner McKnight.
Good job, good job, good job.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.